Chapter 18. 2 days later, my mother-in-law's funeral took place. Charles, the dutiful son, fainted from crying on the spot. As his former wife, I naturally had to help out. When the room was empty, I took a syringe I had bought from the pharmacy out of my bag and quickly drew a tube of blood from Charles's arm. After returning from the morning at the Hartz's home, I had my parents take Sophie back first. I turned around and called a courier service to send Charles's blood sample to the Frosts. The package also contained a note I had printed in advance, Charles's had copy, his work unit, phone number, and home address. The message was just for words matching blood sample. It was only when signing at the Civil Affairs Bureau that it occurred to me. Charles is Sophie's biological father, and since Sophie could match successfully with C.O. Frost's grandson, perhaps Charles could too. In this life, I want to see if Charles is willing, for the sake of making that million plus, to donate his own heart to C.O. Frost's grandson. After sending off the package, I took a taxi to the kindergarten to process Sophie's transfer. My hometown is a town more than an hour's drive from the provincial city. When the head teacher heard that I was transferring Sophie to a rural kindergarten, she let out a sneer of contempt. "Sophie's mom, I've never seen a mother like you. Other parents are bending over backwards to send their children to the city for school. You, on the other hand, are sending your child to the countryside. What good schools could there be out there?" I gave Claire Windsor a smile that was not quite a smile. "You look down on the countryside that much. I hope Teacher Windsor can stay in the big city forever, never to return to the countryside." Claire Windsor raised her head proudly. "I'm already a teacher in the city. How could I possibly go back to a rural area?" "Don't want to go back? This life is not up to you." Before I died in my last life, I found out that Claire Windsor had received $1 million from C.O. Frost by exploiting my daughter's death. That money could have allowed her to live comfortably in the city. But once she got the money, she became arrogant and went back to her hometown to buy a luxury house. What she didn't expect was that her older brother and sister-in-law plotted to marry her off to a man who liked domestic violence and was on his second marriage, just to take over her luxury house. In this life, even without that million, I will make sure she can't stay in the city. Chapter 19. After completing the transfer procedures, I casually bought a box of cheap snacks at the supermarket and packed them into a cardboard box. Inside, I placed a letter I had sent to Claire Windsor's brother and sister-in-law. In the letter, I pretended to be Claire Windsor's colleague, snitching to her siblings that Claire Windsor had stolen my boyfriend. The catch was that this man came from a poor background, with nothing to his name but his words, and Claire Windsor planned to make it a fait accompli by marrying him. That way, her family wouldn't be able to demand a high bride price from the man's family. How could they allow that? Windsor's brother and sister-in-law had planned to match their sister with a wealthy family and use her bride price to buy an apartment in a school district in the city for their children. Before long, Windsor's elder brother called, lying that their mother was sick and hospitalized. Claire Windsor hurriedly took leave to go back to her hometown. Once she went, she could never return. It was said that Teacher Windsor had gone back home to get married, and even her resignation and remaining salary were handled by her elder brother. Who knows if she got married or was locked up by her brother and sister-in-law to be sold? She got what she deserved. Claire Windsor was just a small fry. In my last life, the real person who colluded with the Frosts and caused Sophie's death was the despicable Principal Diana Preston. But it's okay, I had already arranged a big gift for her. That night, a particularly thrilling car sex video in the park began to spread wildly across various short video platforms. The people involved in the park car sex turned out to be C.O. Frost, the richest man in the province, and Diana Preston, the principal of a local private kindergarten. Soon, informants started exposing information in the comment section. Some said Diana Preston was an intern at a company owned by C.O. Frost and had been with him for many years, and that the kindergarten was also founded with C.O. Frost's money. Others claimed Diana Preston was already pregnant, and the sudden release of this video might have been deliberately arranged by her, hoping to capitalize on her pregnancy to force C.O. Frost to divorce his wife. How many real informants could there be? Those were all internet trolls I had paid for. But indeed, trolls can be quite useful. The day after the park car sex scandal, the Frosts began frantically searching for people to delete the videos. But it was too late. Mrs. Frost, furious, brought a group of thugs to the kindergarten, grabbed Diana Preston by the hair, and dragged her out of the office. After a round of beating, Diana Preston clutched her stomach tightly. Well, you really are carrying a bastard child, Mrs. Frost exclaimed furiously, her gaze sweeping over the scene. The next second, a man in hiking boots kicked Diana Preston's stomach violently. With a scream, Diana Preston fainted from the pain. Beneath her light gray dress, a pool of fresh blood quickly soaked her stockings and spread all over the floor. I followed the ambulance all the way to the hospital and watched Diana Preston being pushed into the operating room. After waiting for more than 3 hours, the surgery finally ended. This woman is so pitiful. She lost her child, suffered massive blood loss, and had her uterus removed. She won't be able to become a mother in this lifetime. Sigh. Pity her? Didn't you check social media last night? This woman was a mistress and even tried to ascend to status through the child in her belly. I think this is karma. Even the heavens can't stand it. Really? It doesn't look like it. I see in the registration information that she's still listed as the kindergarten principal. Siek. The nurses gossiped with relish. Hearing that Diana Preston's uterus had been removed, I covered my face and silently laughed. Diana Preston, oh Diana Preston, in your last life, you caused the death of my child. In this life, I will make sure you taste the pain of losing a child. After waking up from surgery, Diana Preston went mad. She desperately called Mr. Frost, the man who could be lured with just one phone call in the past, but this time he only secretly sent an employee over. He brought her $20,000 along with a message, "Stop looking for me. Evan Frost, I hate you." Outside the ward, listening to Diana Preston's breakdown as she screamed, I sneered. Don't worry, what will truly make you collapse is still to come. I found a courier to send Diana Preston a letter. Do you think you were just discovered by Mrs. Frost by accident, and that's why she treated you so harshly? Do you think Mr. Frost is just scared of the tiger at home and that's why he dares not come to see you? Hilarious. Mr. Frost and his wife have been married for decades, and this trick has been used on countless women. Every time Mr. Frost spends money on women outside, and when he gets tired of them, or the women become too ambitious and threaten Mrs. Frost, she would send people to deal with the women harshly, then take back all the valuable gifts Mr. Frost had given. It doesn't cost much to take advantage of a young and beautiful woman, and to have someone clean up the mess for him. Diana Preston is not just any woman. To please Mr. Frost, she could even commit murder. If she knew that Mr. Frost had just been playing with her from the start and never intended to divorce his wife and marry her. I sincerely wish Principal Diana a speedy recovery. Otherwise, how will she seek revenge against Mr. Frost's family?